And joining us now from Dallas, Texas is Ibidolapo Ajayi, Global Affairs Analyst, and from our Abuja studio, Moyo Thomas. She's a TVC News Foreign Affairs Correspondent. Thank you both for joining us. Let me begin with you, Ibidolapo. I just want to start from, we know that President Trump has now left the White House on Marine One, and he was the Andrews base where he said a few things, and I just want to pick something he said. He said, I think they will have great success, referring to the Biden administration. We put the foundation there. Is this the context from which Americans see that, President Trump has left a good foundation for President-elect Joe Biden?
Hello. That's a very, very, very valid question. The truth of the matter is 74 million people voted for Donald Trump. And for those folks, they believe he has turned America around. He made America great again, which was his mantra. And so for those, they will believe that indeed he has left a good foundation. For a lot of other Americans, they believe Donald Trump's tenure was very, very, very stressful for this country, that he messed up the image of the United States in the whole world. So for a lot of others, they will feel like we are starting all over again, and Joe Biden has a lot of work to do. So it's all about perspective, and it's all about who you ask.
About that peaceful transfer of power, the last time a president skipped the inauguration of his successor was in 1869, which is about 152 years ago. There is also the part where a president will leave a letter for his successor. It has not been stated if President Trump did leave any letter for President-elect Joe Biden. What does this say about President Trump, even now that he has left the White House?
Well, it's all vintage Trump. If you think about it, even the event he had this morning to leave the White House before the inauguration ceremonies began was all about himself. This has never happened in a long time. Like you said, it's been 152 years, and he's just totally broken with tradition. Typically, he should be there at the White House to welcome the Bidens. We saw what happened in 2016 when the Obamas received himself and his wife to the White House. And, the whole ceremony is all about celebrating what's great about the United States. Sadly, we won't be seeing that today because Donald Trump decided to make this about himself. He still wanted to grab the attention. That's why he had a lavish, or what he hoped would be a lavish ceremony at Joint Andrews Air Force Base. And unfortunately for him, the crowd he was expecting was not really there. A smattering of people showed up, and he gave his speech, and he's left out. So right now, we're all looking forward in a few hours to the inauguration of the 46th president of the United States of America. But that was just vintage Donald Trump, making this all about himself. And in his speech, he didn't even mention or refer to Joseph R. Biden. At any point in time, even in his farewell speech that was released yesterday, he never mentioned him. He basically just refers to the incoming administration, just because in his mind, he still believes that the election was stolen from him, which is really sad because the only way we believe this country will be united is by the outgoing president to acknowledge that the election was won fairly. In that way, his supporters, who are really, really huge and they love him so much, will come around to accepting that indeed the democracy that we all hold high here in America is still valid and the elections are free and fair. But we have not seen that. So it's now down to President Biden to unite the country, and he does have a lot of work to do in that respect.
All right, Blackmore, while at the Joint Base Andrews, one of the last things he said was, we'll be back in some form. And then even at the White House, it was reported that he said, I hope this is not a long goodbye. What do you think he meant by that?
Well, Trump has never hidden his desire to return in 4 years, and he still speaks to the fact that he believes this election was stolen from him. And, even immediately after the election took place, whilst he refused to concede, he had been hinting at a 2024 run. So it was very clear by him making that statement that he hopes to be able to run again in 4 years for the highest post. But you have to remember that he has a trial coming up at the United States Senate for his impeachment. And that may very well put to that whole idea, because if he's convicted and the Senate decides that he will not run for any political office in the United States, that's the end of that. But what you also have to remember, though, that his base is still strongly behind him. What will then happen is he will be seeking to be like a godfather to the party, where he's able to determine who wins elections, who wins primaries at the GOP level, and who is able to run for office if he is not able to run himself. So if factors himself as somebody that will still be having a lot of control in the party. But what we've been saying is that the GOP wants to move away from the Trump era. They want to redefine themselves. They want to rediscover themselves. They want it to be more about GOP as a party that's always been known for, fiscal strength and being conservative. They don't want personalities to kind of overrun what they stand for. So we've already started seeing that from the likes of Mitch McConnell, who came out yesterday strongly to put the blame for the insurrection we saw on the feet of Donald Trump. So right now, Trump in his mind thinks, I will be back. I will be able to influence things within the party. But events in the coming weeks will determine that.
Talking about events in the coming weeks, it's been said that President Trump has talked to some associates about starting a new party, and some has touted the name as the Patriot Party. In the face of an impeachment trial, how feasible is this?
Well, that would be something that the legal analysts will have to truly figure out. I don't think anything will stop him from starting a party. I believe he can gather people. His followers will probably join him in that party. His ability to run for office will be what will be in question if indeed he's convicted during the Senate trial. If he's convicted, there is no way he can run for political office under any party. So that will just end that whole, that whole scenario for him. But what he really wants is still to be able to control things from the back end, even within the GOP. And they want to be a lot of them want to be rid of him, but there's still people in the GOP that wants to leverage his base. Folk like Ted Cruz love to inherit the Trump base and be able to make their own run. And truly, I believe the likes of Ted Cruz also wants Trump out of the way so they can all have a clean shot at running for presidency in 2024.
Global Affairs Analyst Ibidolapo Ajayi, thanks for sharing your